Hi everybody, this is Larry, and this is my Suzuki Cappuccino, which is a JDM car. And today I'm going to replace the transmission oil because my shifting is a bit notchy. First, you're going to need to get the car on jack stands. They're really low, so you see I have mine like I have actually 4 jack stands under there, and then I put the braces or the ramps underneath the tires just to be safe in case this thing ever came down. And you have to make sure that the car is level. That's why I have all the shims under there. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to remove the transmission tunnel brace, which is on the bottom, and there are 12 millimeter bolts. And I've already removed mine. I'll show you how to remove it, but you're going to remove that. It's really easy. I think it's 8 bolts, and it just pops right out. And then we're going to get under the car. Before we get started, you're going to need a few things. The first thing you're going to need is the gear oil. And I was recommended to use Royal Purple Max Gear by the auto store I bought it from. And then I'm using 75 weight 90. It's a 1 quart bottle. You'll need 1 liter. But I actually have a little gear oil in my garage to get that full liter. Next, you're going to need the service manual. And I grabbed this off of the Facebook group. You can also get it on the score form, and you can see it'll show you where the fill plug is and the drain plug is and the torque specs and all the other things you'll need to do this oil change. Next, you're going to need thread sealant, high temperature thread sealant, which I just picked up at the auto store. You're going to have to put it on the fill plug and the drain plug. And then next, you're going to need a fill tube. I also bought this at the auto parts store, and it screws right on top of the oil bottle. And I actually have an extension I'm going to use. You'll see me use that in the video. Also, you're going to notice there's a bunch of oil. I used oil on the fill plug and the drain plug so that I could remove it in the next shot. Okay, it's probably not that clear, but I'm actually underneath the car. You can see the oil pan. And then this is the transmission. This is actually where the clutch is. This is the transmission. And then all the way in the back, right here, you're going to see a drain plug. And then the fill plug is actually right here. You probably can't see it. Try to get a better angle on it, but that's the fill plug right there. And you're going to remove that, and then you're going to remove the drain plug. So first you remove the fill plug, then the drain plug. And they use 3/4, like a ratchet. So I actually just use a standard ratchet, and they're square, and I will remove the drain plug, and I'll show you. And before you actually do this, you got to warm the engine up to a running temperature so that the oil is can easily drain. Okay, here's what the drain plug looks like. Actually, this isn't the drain plug, this is the fill plug, but you can see it just uses a 3/4 ratchet. And I'll try to show you that better. So I have a ratchet, and this just fits right in. And you can use that to take it in and out, thank God. And then, or if you have the tool for it, but I didn't have the tool for it. So I've already removed the fill plug, and now I'm going to get a pan. It only takes 1.06 liters. So anyway, you get a pan and unscrew this, and hopefully it starts coming out. And I've already loosened it up. Sorry for the sudden cut. I almost got covered in gear oil, so I had to stop it right away. Here's the drain plug and the fill plug. As you see, the drain plug has a magnet on the end, and that collects all the shavings from the synchros and the gears when you grind gears, so it doesn't run through the transmission. And you can see this is the stuff that came off of mine. And this is normal. Maybe mine's a little excessive, but this is very standard to get that sludge after having the gear oil in there for several years. I let it drain for about 30 minutes while I was cleaning the fill plug and the drain plug. I spilled some, and I'll clean that up quickly. Next, I have to put high temperature sealant onto the fill plug and the drain plug, and I'll get to you after that. As you can see, I've put high temperature sealant on the drain plug. I'm going to put it in off camera because I can't hold the phone, and put it in at the same time. I'm able to put my torque wrench directly into the drain plug, and then you torque it to 2 to 3 Newton meters. I've set mine at 2.5, and you can see it's torqued. The next part is the fun part, or where the rubber meets the road. You're going to put the transmission fluid into the car. And so this is where you can either install your fill tube right to the bottle, but in my case it's not quite long enough, so I'm going to use a extension. So you have a little nipple on the end that you can use and put an extension, and I can feed it right through the tube. So in the next shot we're going to actually put this fill tube right into the transmission. Okay, as you can see, I've put the fill tube directly into the fill plug. Make sure it's secure so it doesn't slip out, and then put something underneath, because when you fill it, you'll know it's full when oil starts to come out. There's no way to check the level until that happens. So I always put one quart in first and then add a little bit until it just starts to overflow. Make sure again that you have something underneath so you can catch the oil that might come out. Okay, I've dripped most of 1 quart into the transmission. So I've done 1 quart without worry, and then I'm going to just fill up the pipe with more transmission fluid. Then I'm going to go underneath and then plug it right when it starts to seep out. Okay, I'm back under the car, and what I did is there was just a little bit of fluid left in the pipe, and when I did the second bottle, I just filled up the pipe, and then as you can see, some fluid just started dripping out, and that's when I capped it and removed the plug. By the way, the stain there, it's penetrating oil that I used to get the fill plug off. Anyway, so I have the right amount, and now I put sealant already on the fill plug. I'm going to put the high temperature sealant on the fill plug, and I'm going to go put that back into the transmission. When you're done, make sure you clean it off with brake fluid or something. It's going to smell bad. Okay, I put the torque wrench directly into the fill plug, and I've torqued it. I've torqued mine to 2.8 newton meters. It can be between 2 and 3 newton meters, and I've torqued mine to 2.8 meters. So I'm done. This is done. I just need to run the car. But first, you should clean it off. Again, clean off the oil off the transmission, or it's going to take forever to burn off, and it'll smell. Okay, the next shot, you can see this is the how to adjust the clutch cable. I've tossed this in because it's easy to get to while you have the transmission tunnel plate off. So you can see it uses a 14 millimeter bolt, and you can adjust the clutch cable. It's a very simple cable actuated lever, and you can adjust it either it gauges too early or too late, and this gives you a chance to adjust it, or it's too loose, or you get pedal slop. And so you just use a wrench or pliers to hold one side of the clutch cable, and you can adjust it with a 14 millimeter wrench on the other. Okay, now it's time to finish up, and the last thing you need to do is put the transmission tunnel plate back in. It's the same 8 bolts or 10 bolts. You get these in as tight as you can, because this helps reduce flex in the body of the car. And basically it's the reverse of the takeoff. I'd show you how to do it, but I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. Okay, I'm driving the car, and it definitely shifts smoother. Especially noticeable is that as it was difficult to shift from first to second when the car was cold, but now that's pretty much eliminated, so it shifts much smoother. Downshifting from third to second is better, but I still have a synchro issue, so I have to double clutch downshift.